God's response to Habakkuk's first complaint is this. He says, I am doing something. I'm not passive. But what I'm doing, you can't understand. And so we just sit with that, right? We sit with God. We hear God say that his perceived inaction is not the whole picture. God is working beyond our understanding. He's working in ways that we cannot see or understand with our knowledge, with our understanding, with our wisdom. And this is where we end this week. This is where the text ends this week. We end in the mysterious tension that God is both incomprehensible and knowable at the same time. I'm glad Jesse's preaching next week. He can kind of clear all this up for us. God is both incomprehensible and knowable at the same time. That's where we sit right now. We sit in this tension that you and I, we can know God personally, that we can be in relationship with him, we can even grow in our knowledge of him, but we will never understand him or his ways exhaustively. Let me read to you a few scriptures. Psalm 145 verse 3 says this, great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. His greatness is unsearchable. Job 26, verse 14. Behold, these are but the outskirts of his ways, and how small a whisper do we hear of him, but the thunder of his power, who can understand? Romans chapter 11. Isaiah 55. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways, declares the Lord. Listen, for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than yours, and my thoughts higher than yours. And then Romans chapter 11, oh, the depth of the riches and wisdom and knowledge of God. Listen, how unsearchable are his judgments, and how inscrutable his ways. For who has known the mind of the Lord, or who has been his counselor? I want to suggest to us today that God himself, he is incomprehensible. His being is incomprehensible. But also, each of his individual attributes are also incomprehensible. His greatness, his power, his wisdom, his way, his thoughts, his judgments. God himself is incomprehensible, but every one of his attributes are also incomprehensible. We cannot fully know or understand. Eric Holmes says, not only can we never know everything there is to know about God, we can never know everything there is to know about even one aspect of God's character or work. Pick any aspect of God, pick any attribute of God you want to, and study it, and read about it, and think about it, and you will never come to understand one attribute of God. He is incomprehensible. But then we also must acknowledge that there are things that God in his sovereign wisdom has chosen to keep hidden. Deuteronomy chapter 29 verse 29 says what? The secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the things that are revealed belong to us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. But while God is incomprehensible, Scripture also teaches that God is knowable. As someone said, God is personal, has definite characteristics, and has personally revealed himself so that he can be truly known. And here's the tension. God has provided sufficient knowledge of himself so that you and I can know him personally. We can know him relationally. He has provided sufficient knowledge for us to live fruitful and faithful lives as God's people. That God is incomprehensible should keep us humble in our pursuit of him, while also recognizing that there is a soul-satisfying joy in seeking God and knowing him.